Hey everybody, in this video I want to show how you can use our new universal setup blocks to set up your guide rail brackets, whether it's on the dashboard or any other table and anywhere on that table. Okay, number one, take the spiral dog that came with your guide rail brackets and install it in your guide rail. It doesn't have to be in a final position now. Okay, so you want to put your guide rail brackets on your table and roughly equivalent with each other's front to back. Leave them a little bit loose so they can move, but not so loose that they flop around, because that's going to make it easier to adjust to final position. Now on the rear bracket, you're going to make sure that the knobs that control the pressure bar are loose enough that the bar can move up and down. You should be able to lift it up and down about that much. So just take your rail, lift the bar, and slip that on like so. Now, front to back positioning will be up to you depending on how much room you need out front, how long your rail is, and so forth. Don't sweat it for now. It should just sit on the front bracket, and then we'll take the next step. Okay, with the rail still free to move, you want to just run the spiral dog into the slot and tighten that in place. Notice that I have the bracket set at a height that places the rail a little bit above the table. You can see some daylight in here. Do that for the front and rear bracket. It just makes it easier to adjust to final position when the rail is not creating friction with the bench top. Now we will locate the rail. So take the bench dogs that came with your guide rail brackets, pop those into the hole here, place the USB over them. Just try to get them straight as you can across the table. They will be somewhat self-correcting. Now, just pull the rail right up against the USBs. Just check it and make sure that you have straight contact between the splinter guard and the USBs and they're not wobbling around. There's no need to smash it into the USBs because then you'll end up deforming the splinter guard, which will affect the accuracy of your setup. So now I'll just like to keep one finger on here and make sure it doesn't move while I tighten the front guide rail in bracket in place, followed by the rear bracket. So those are set, and there's one more step. And here we are with the rear guide rail bracket. So the last step in setting up your brackets is always to tighten the pressure bar. And just go over it a couple times to make sure you have it nice and solid. So now you're all set. Just remove the USBs and those bench dogs. Raise the rail and you're ready to go. When you drop the rail, the spiral dog will go right in the slot every time. So you're ready to work. The second way to use the new universal setup block is to position a long guide rail for cuts off the edge of the table. This works on both Outriggers and Trackstars. On Outriggers, just take the USB with the tab facing down, put it against the Outrigger's top, and that's ready. Similar thing on the Trackstar, just pop it right onto there, up against the inside of the top plate, and that's going to put it in the same position as it would be on the Outriggers. Now you're going to put the spiral dogs in each end of your guide rail, and you should secure them so that when they drop in the slots on the Trackstars, it's about in the middle of the length of the slot. The reason for that is you're pushing on the rail with a saw, you're moving it, you might be taking it off, putting it back on a bunch of times. If there's too much space, like if it's too far out to the end of the slot, one end could slip out of the slot, you might not notice it, and then your cut would be off. So make sure that it's about in the middle of each slot. Okay, so you're going to put the spiral dog in the center slot of each Trackstar. And just to make it easier to see, I like to start with them being a little bit tilted like this, and then they just drop in. Now, with the Trackstars loose on each end of the table, all you need to do is pull them. So the splinter guard contacts the USB. So I've got one here. I'm just going to do the other one here. it's just like when you're doing guide rail brackets. So now we're all set with these. Just make sure you're actually touching each one. And then I'll just tighten the track stars in place. And you're all set. Pop the USBs out. And you're ready to cut.